No, Felix, I'm not going to wear that ridiculous dragon costume, and we're not making a green screen. Hell's bells, muchacho. Game of Thrones is over. Let it go. Howdy, everybody. Cowboy Dave here, and you're watching Cowboy Dave's Adventure Time, the show where we go at life with an open heart and a child's eye for wonder. Now, you're probably asking yourself, I wonder how come he's wearing that provocative blue Hawaiian shirt. That don't seem like the kind of garb he'd normally be walking around in. Normally you'd be right, except the wife has asked me to take her car camping at the beach. And that got me thinking, of course, about Aphrodite, the goddess of love, who rose from the sea foam. So I went over to the library and I drug out this book. Let's have a listen. I think it'll get us on track. It says here, the Homeric hymn dedicated to you makes plain that except for Athena, Artemis, and Hera, nobody else, none of the blessed gods, no mortal man, no one else can ever escape Aphrodite. Well, I think that pretty much sums it up. By the way, this is The Goddess, Mythological Images of the Feminine by Christine Downing. It's a book I highly recommend, particularly if you're a dude. So let's go to the beach. Let's put our toes in the sand. Let's stare out at the blue, blue ocean. But while we're doing it, let's honor the goddess of love. Felix, please, amigo, roll the intro.
Seriously, Felix? You're gonna wear the dragon costume and put on this music during my intro. You're acting like a child. Get out your nunchucks, muchacho. It's time to tango. Help, help, help.
Sorry about that, everybody. Sometimes Felix and I have our creative differences. If you know anything about the tarot, Felix is the kind of hombre who every time he draws the Emperor card, hence his love for storm and castles, blood and guts. But enough about that. We're talking about Venus. Now, the question is, how do we honor her? And by the way, Cowboy Dave, what the heck does she have to do with overlanding? I'll tell you, just about everything. Now, if you're anything like me, you're probably staring at your computer screen right now the same way I used to stare at my Sony Trinitron, and you're saying to your faithful dog, he better substantiate that thesis or get the hell out of Dodge. Thing is, I can't prove it because it's magic. But take a look at the dudes and the ladies out there in their fancy rigs. Look at the way we love our overlanding vehicles. Look how we dress them up. We give them big tires and lift kits and dynamic suspensions and roof racks and fancy lights and towing winches. Now, sure, these upgrades are useful, but I think there's more at play here than just that. You see, Aphrodite, she's more than just the goddess of love. She is also the goddess of aesthetics. And the accoutrement she adorns her body in, well, let's just say it gets things done. When I bought my Rubicon, Aphrodite was there. Aphrodite, she came to me and she told me to buy a brand new tent. And you want to know something? I did it. Aphrodite handed me a Jetboil stove and instructed me to go up to the cash register at REI and purchase it. Anytime you've absolutely got to have a piece of gear, anytime you're caught in a swoon, you can bet your bottom dollar the Venus in the half shell has cast a spell on you. This is how Aphrodite works in our consciousness. This is how she's alive in all of us. Yeah. Hey, what do you say we go to the beach?
As we drove away from the homestead, I thought about my best friend, Felix Rodriguez Hernandez, and how he punched me in the nose. It was my fault. It was obvious to me that the dark side of Aphrodite had come to life in our creative process and then later in our hand-to-hand combat. The same way the goddess went nuts when her love-stricken boy wonder shacked up with that pretty little girl's psyche. Meanwhile, Manifa was swaying like a pine tree in a windstorm. Waylon Jennings cranked up on the old 8-track cassette player always drove her a little bit crazy. Hell, maybe we were all a little crazy. I didn't know if we were in the hills of Malibu or on the windswept island of Cyprus. In the blink of an eye, our lives had become mythologized. When we pulled into our campsite, there was an alien from outer space hovering over the beach. I've seen a lot of these lately, most likely because of the top secret mission I've been selected for. I found a World War II parachute washed up on the shore. I made a tent out of it. I didn't want Manifa to be scared or frightened during the night. You've got to take care of the goddesses in your life. That is, if you want to hold on to them. As I stared out at that big blue ocean, I remembered a fisherman's poem I heard Robert Bly read on a Bill Moyer special. "O God, thy sea is so great, and my boat is so small." Cowboy Dave, those words are true. That's what I thought to myself, which led me to ponder how many little fishies there must be in the ocean. Now, I'm no mathematician, but I bet you it's more than 100,000 million. Think about that. That's a lot of little fishies. I saw a great white shark, a seal, a manta ray, and a baby dolphin. The great white shark tried to attack me, so I punched it in the nose. It swam away. In overlanding, you've got to be ready for anything. I found some wild potatoes growing on the hillside above our camp. Then I caught a yellow-tailed barracuda in a tide pool. I made Manifa French fries and fish tacos for lunch. That's what it's all about, making the person you love happy. Some of you may have noticed my shirt. I'm in Donald Trump's Space Force. I'm a flight commander. Those of you who disagree with the president might be saying to yourselves, why is Cowboy Dave willing to go to outer space for that orange man? Truth is, there is a deep state secret cabal. It's run by Michelle Obama and Ellen DeGeneres. They asked me to infiltrate the current administration and help restore the feminine, thereby saving America. This made my wife happy, so I said yes. As our fire burned and the sun set over the beautiful Pacific Ocean, I thought about the goddess of love, glorious Aphrodite. Her beauty, her emotional tantrums, her love for aesthetics, and how she works through us, always hoping to be seen, to be recognized, to be honored. How can we do this? Well, the answer is simple, my friends. By slowing down. By slowing down and by imagining her into everything. So last night, as I crawled into our tent, I thought about the story of Anchises. Anchises lived on Mount Ida, and he was kind of the first overlander. He lived in a tent, and he was a sheep herder, a gamesman, a true outdoorsman. When Aphrodite arose from the sea foam, walked up the beach, the first place she went was Mount Ida, and she saw Anchises there. And she was really struck by him because he was kind of a real handsome dude. And she decided she was going to seduce him. So she put on beautiful robes and bangles and this incredible girdle, and she was perfumed. And she went to his tent, and when he saw her, he could not resist her beauty. And he was really chomping at the bit. He wanted to make love to her. She tried to get him to slow down, slow his roll, but he wouldn't have it. And they made stuff happen. So the next day, Anchises wakes up
and he sees Aphrodite, but this time she's not disguised as a mortal, she's Aphrodite. And in all of her glory, she's just too much to behold, and he is overcome with terror. And now she's a bit cold. One of the stories, my favorite story, she has his eyes stinged out by bees, and he's forever blind. So when I got into the tent last night, I had to ask myself, Cowboy Dave, is that your beautiful wife, or is that Aphrodite? Well, the jury's still out on that. The good news is, today I woke up and I could see. Howdy everybody, so we're packing up camp. Actually, we've packed up camp. I just went in for one last dip in the beautiful ocean, Aphrodite's ocean. We had a lovely time, honey. Well, I should say I had a lovely time. How about you? Did you?
So good.
You had a good time?
I prefer beach camping.
You prefer beach camping? I'm a mountain kind of guy. Isn't that interesting? But we did honor Aphrodite while we were here. We honored love and aesthetics and beauty, and just had a great time, and we hoped you had fun watching, okay? Make sure you get out there. As always, leave your campsite in good condition and be safe.
So there you have it. That was our overlanding adventure with Aphrodite. And just so you know, I called Felix from a payphone along Pacific Coast Highway, and I apologized for starting our karate fight. Until next time, adios, everybody.